With this, good evening from IIT Madras. On behalf of the Industry Interaction Cell and the Student Placement Council, I am Garima Rora, your moderator for the session. I would like to welcome you all to an insightful session on pursuing a computer science stream from materials engineering to machine learning. We are incredibly fortunate to have with us Mr. Chikuri Virupaksh. Mr. Virupaksh is the BTech graduate from Metallurgical and Materials Engineering Department at IIT Madras with a CGPA of 9.32 in our BS Data Science and Application program. He achieved notable rank in JEE Mains and JEE Advanced and completed over 50 certifications in various programming languages. He had ranked 46 out of 1 lakh participants in 2022 IICC coding competition by Coding Ninjas and have expelled in data mining 2024 NPTEL course with a score of 91%. His research experience include working as a deep learning research associate under Professor Ramanathan and interning as an NLP specialist at Willings, Japan. In addition to this, he had demonstrated his dedication to the student committee through his role as a group leader in Corbett House, demonstrating his strong leadership skills. Along with this, currently he had been admitted to US San Diego's MS in Computer Science program for fall 2024. Today, Mr. Virupaksh will be sharing his valuable insights on higher education and career pathways in data science, specifically focusing on pursuing a computer science stream from material engineering to his machine learning pathway. With his wealth of knowledge and experience, we are certain that the session will be both informative and insightful for all of us. So as we proceed with Mr. Virupaksh's exciting session, I encourage all the learners to actively engage by sharing your questions and your thoughts on the chat section. We'll be having a dedicated Q&A session towards the end of this discussion. Having said that, the stage is now set to explore the educational journey, strategies for which I like to hand the floor over to Mr. Virupaksh. Please join me in welcoming him. Sir, you may kindly hand over the session ahead.
Thank you, Ms. Garima. Thank you for introducing me. So without any delay, I'll just start with the presentation. I'll just keep it brief. And okay, so so let's start with the presentation. I have a couple of slides explaining some parts that I want to emphasize on what you need to do through this process of applications and after the applications. So let's go on with the presentation. So disclaimer, I'm not an expert in graduate applications, nor I have worked at any of the departments. So I have used some slides or images for humor. So just bear with me. And this is a this is a quotation I like very much. All models are wrong, but some are useful, by George Box about machine learning. So this is something like that. Every advice might not be completely false, but might not be completely true or might not be completely useful, but it will be useful in some or the other way. So yeah. Okay, so who am I? I'm a BTech in Metallurgical and Materials Engineering at IIT Madras. I have completed my BTech in 2023. So I have a CGPA of 7.93, pretty average actually. And I have a 9.38 CGPA in BSc IIT Madras. And I'm currently admitted in, how do I do this? Okay, currently admitted in UC San Diego. So San Diego ranks top 10 in computer science in global QS ranking and 60 in overall ranking. So it's a tier 1 university. And continuing with my profile, I have 324 in GRE. I've scored a perfect 170 in quant and 154 in verbal. And in IELTS, I have an 8. And I've done some internships and other work related to computer science and machine learning for that case. So this is a slight overview of what my profile looks like. So how do you start with the university selection? So how many factors can you start considering for considering when you start shortlisting universities? So there are n number of factors that you can use while you do this. While while you start shortlisting universities, you can just start looking at what are the QS rankings of universities, and you may think at applying the top 10 universities, but though that is not a perfect metric, nor there is a perfect rule for what is a good metric. There isn't anything like that. But you need to look at how how a university aligns with you, how a university's goals or how your goals align with the university's education program. So while I started shortlisting for universities, I have done this for I have searched for several universities for over 1 month, and I have spoke to some of the seniors, which I'll get to later. So there isn't a single defined metric of how you should choose a university, but there are several metrics that you can use while choosing universities because these might meet your uh, needs in a long term. So job offers, research, funding to the department you're going to be studying, diversity of the students and diversity of the professors, PhD opportunities, location, etc., etc. So there are n number of factors that you can use while shortlisting a university. So you might be planning to continue settling down in another country after studying there. That might be a good metric, or that might be the most important metric for you when you start shortlisting universities. So you need to understand why you want to do this before applying this, before applying to universities, before even shortlisting universities. Why do you want to study in a university? What do you expect when you start studying in university? That's where the metrics come in. And every metric is different for every other person. So there isn't any comparison or something like that. And it's a good way to talk to your seniors or friends or professors or managers if you are working about how relevant a university should be compared to. So uh, take me for example. I have spoken to my professors in my department back at my college. I have spoken to a professor under whom I have worked as a research intern. So he has told me that I myself am personally interested in research, but my research mostly falls into the deep learning area, the trustworthy deep learning area. So it's a good way to understand which universities are having are interested in giving you an opportunity to continue your research, or which universities have a great funding to a particular subpart of a branch. And you might go on to shortlist which universities your seniors might have gotten into. So if your profile is similar to your senior, if your profile is similar to a person you know, and you can start shortlisting comparing to them, because that's a metric that you might feel comfortable. Because I did what I had to do. I talked to more than 10 seniors who have recently went, I mean, who have went to higher education 2 years before. And I have even spoken to my super senior who is already a graduate and has started working. And I spoke to all these people to just understand how the university selection, how they did the university selection. So it's a good way to start speaking before even quantifying how a university should be. And LinkedIn is a great way to connect with people who are already in an university. So if you want to speak about a particular program or a particular research group in a university, you can just start going. You can go into LinkedIn and you can search for a person who is working in there, and you can just start connecting with them. And most people generally reply with an idea also. So so a big question while applying for universities. So is it buying or selling or investing? Is it buying your way into a university, or is it selling yourself or your time in an university, or is it investing in a university? So what I follow and what I believe is you should invest your time and sell your profile to buy a chance at a university. So when you dedicate and when you give yourself some time to do the shortlisting, applications, wait time, and everything, and while in the process, while you sell your resume, while you sell your SOP, while you sell your profile, because selling might be a loosely defined term, but selling in this positions in this context refers to an refers to fitting in the puzzle for the university. So if you fit yourself, if you are able to fit in a university's expectations for themselves or for yourself, then I think that's what I call selling your profile for the university. And by a chance at university is getting accepted in a university. So it requires a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of time. You'll have to wait for 2 to 3 months. While even taking for the applications, take the applications, for example, leave the shortlisting aside. You need to start writing an SOP, statement of purpose. So statement of purpose itself is a very heavy job. So it requires a lot of things you need to write about yourself. If I ask you at the point, who are you and what do you want to do? Why do you want to do this? You would not be able to give a coherent answer. You would not be able to give a clear, complete answer about why you want to do something that you want to do. So it requires a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. It takes n number of revisions. And after that, you might think you might got into a stage where your SOP looks perfect, but it still might be very, very, very bad. So all these take a lot of time. So starting from the shortlisting that I've told, you need to speak with your professors, with your friends and all. It will take around 1 month. And after that, you'll start for the applications, and you look at the deadlines. Most universities will have a deadline of 8 months. I mean, 8 months in the sense, if you're joining in a fall, for the fall next year, you'll have to submit your application 8 months before the start date. So my universities had their application deadline in December. So it's almost 7 months. And you start writing, you start giving the GRE, you start preparing for the GRE, you start giving the GRE, you start preparing for IELTS or TOEFL to fulfill the requirements. And then you sit and write an SOP, and you find it bad, again. You'll do a revision, you give a break of 1 week, and you'll do it again. So this all process takes around 2 to 3 months. And after that, you'll have to wait for 2 to 3 months of the results they give, they send back. And their decisions might be, disappointing at first, because there might be several universities you're applying to, and you might get hard decisions. But you'll have to stay strong. You'll have to wait till every university has given its decision, and you'll have to reply back saying you want to join, or do not want to join, because you have a better university or better plan in mind. And that's what you do, and it will most probably take less than a day. For me, I mean, I have given when I was given the admit application, when I was given the approval, I just sent the yes on the day itself, because I know this is what I want. This is the university I want to go into. And you'll have the visa and applications time and all. So okay, we'll talk about this as we go forward. So how do they evaluate you? So see, I've not spoken about why you want to do this, why you want to do that, and how you want to do this. I'll just give you an overview. You can ask me how you want to do that. I mean, if there are any flaws in how you want to do that, you can just ask me. But I'll be giving you how do they do that from the perspective of a university. So how do they evaluate? So let's talk about an analogy here. There might be a movie. I mean, for me, The Matrix. This is a beautiful movie for me. I liked it from the day I watched it. I have done multiple rewatches of this movie, and these are some reviews that I have found on IMDb. See, this is the review that somebody posted in 1999. So just after the movie release. So he was very excited, and he said, "Go see the film. It's wonderful. It's exciting, and on the seat. It was the seat." So that's what I felt too. And here's another person who says it's needlessly confusing, and it also says Larry Fishburne to make Keanu Reeves look good. That's actually offending for me. And he says watch this movie again is impossible. So the part that goes under these reviews itself is interpretation. So how do you interpret a movie while you watch it? I mean, how do you connect with the emotions? Do you want to connect with the emotions? How do you do that? And all of this comes with a clear term, interpretation. So how do you do that? There is not a single person in this whole world that can clearly and completely coincide his interpretation with another person in regard with anything. So given 10 universities, you might apply. So there are 10 different admission departments for each university. So and the your application will be sent to the some one of the person in the admission department, and he'll go through it. And there are several people in either of the in all of these departments, and they have different mindset going under while evaluating your profile. So how do they do that? I mean, it's not a simple thing. It does not have a metric. It's not an accuracy score that you can apply on a machine learning model. So to simply get how good is this to compare it to our university's goals, there is nothing like that. there'll be a person who will just evaluate. I mean, you can even find answers on Quora that say, I mean, from people who worked in the admission department itself that say, we are not even sure how we evaluate the profile. So this is not a clear, there isn't a clear metric on how do they do that. So that's why I put this meme here. Is it possible to learn this power? Because it is not. You cannot clearly say, look at a profile and say, yeah, you'll definitely will be able to get into University of Maryland, for example. You can't say that. And but 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 there are several factors that mostly will get you eliminated, but might not get confirmed, but you might get easily eliminated because of those factors. See, let's say what I did, what I felt while I was shortlisting universities and I was applying for universities. When I spoke to several of my seniors, they said a good GPA or good GRE or good score in any of this does not give you an admission, and those are not the only factors that they look at. But the most important factors would be the SOP, the letter of recommendations you get from your professors, and the research and a big plus point would be a research paper. And if you are good enough, that there will be a page in your application which asks, did you complete these requirements to get into this branch? Did you complete these requirements? And which course did you do? And what is the grade you have gotten in that? So, and there you might fumble because, see, for a student like me, I'm a metallurgy student. I mean, if I have not done BSc degree, for example, then even if I have done 50 certification courses in Coursera, Udemy, Udacity, that though they cannot back me up in the prerequisites part. So I guess anybody who takes BS degree can have a clear background and on the prerequisites part. But I'm just saying, personal projects or something like that, or internships can cover for you. I started drawing on screen. Okay. So that is the thing. You cannot say which can guarantee you, but you can say which can eliminate your profile. If you have a bad GRE score, if you have a bad GPA, there's a higher chance of getting rejection. But the important factors you need to keep in mind while building a profile is SOP, LORs. So this is what I have learned from the Quora questions and what I think I have learned from the results of my applications. So yeah. So what's a good SOP then? How do we write a good SOP, and how do you get a good LOR from a professor? How do you do that? No rule of thumb as before. So there are several factors that come into play. And but the most important things are, why do you want to do a course at a certain university? So say I've applied for Yale, say I've applied for MS in anthropology, and I'm coming from a background in from metallurgy itself, say. So if I'm applying for that, why do I want to do that is the most important question they ask. Because anybody would be asking me that question. If I say I'm applying for this, applying for that, and you will ask me, why do you want to continue your studies if you have already gotten an undergraduation? So that is the same question. So research is a clear, dedication of time. And if you're going to go for a master's in either computer science or, for that matter, any branch, you will have to dedicate your time when you are at the university for the research part. So you can say simply that several people might go into the computer science department for an MS, and why do they need to ask a reason for that? See, that's what I was saying. It is like any other branch. If you are going to an MS in suppose metallurgy itself for my branch, they'll be asking me why I do that. Because even though I have a background in metallurgy, why do I want to do an MS? Why do I want to give 2 good years in my life to research? Why do I want to do that? So you need to have a strong reasoning why you did that. So, and after that, for the part of LORs I can say is, you need to ask people who you trust. Who you trust will give you good LORs. See, good LORs cannot guarantee you an education, cannot guarantee you an approval. Similarly, it's, like what I said earlier, but bad LOR can definitely damage your entire profile. So once they see a bad LOR, then then it's highly possible that just discard your profile without even looking into it further. So, and coming to the SOP again, because we have so many chat GPT, because we have so many large language models, it's completely affordable and easy. We can easily build a good SOP. So what do I mean by good is the way it looks, the words you have used, the grammar, the richness of the grammar, the richness of the vocabulary you've used in your SOP would most probably be good. And this is what is the problem, because everybody does the same job on their SOPs, because they just use a large language model to enhance their SOP. So the point is not how you write, but the point is what you write in your SOP is most important. So as I said, the reasons for the higher study. So see, if the in general universities require you to write a 1500 word essay or 1000 word essay, or some universities might ask you a 500 word essay that is clear to the point. So even in a 500 word essay, you will have to start with a introduction about yourself. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to do at this university, and what do you want to do in your future? So among all these points, any of the three important check boxes, if you get checked in any of the check box, you're most likely able to get an admission in that university. So this is what is the background in an SOP. So you'll have to be careful of what you write in an SOP rather than how you write. This is only particularly to MS, and this is not for an MBA application. And I am not very sure about how that goes. And this is a summary of how the application process looks like. So shortlist 9 to 10 universities. The way I did, I applied to around 8 universities. Here the number looks 9. I think that's 3 plus 3 plus 2, I guess. So I applied to 3 impossible universities that I am very sure I won't be able to get in, but I have applied just for the sake of, a chance. And 3 highly possible universities. Again, you will possibly know why I use the highly possible word, because you can guess what universities you will be able to get in compared to when you compare your profile to a profile who's already been in the university. You can just go into, suppose you'll just go into LinkedIn and you just type UC San Diego. You'll get a list of profiles, and whenever you open a profile, you can go through what all experiences he had, what he or she had, what are the education he or she had. You can simply just identify your similarities. It will be, it's a sort of a good metric, but I can't say anything like that. That's what is the problem. There is no concrete metric, but I'll say it's a good metric to compare and understand how possible is it to get into university. And at three safe universities, you will know what a safe university is for you. A university with around 80% acceptance rate or 50% acceptance rate is a very safe university, I can say. If you apply to a university that has 50% to 60% acceptance rate, then you're safe. You'll most probably get into that university for sure. And they are just for a backup. You might not even join into that university, but that is for a backup. And one of a senior told me, he's from Columbia University, and he has done an MS in data science. And remember, he does not even have a degree in data science, or he does not even have a work experience in data science. He just went solely from our branch, metallurgy. So when I spoke to him, he said there is a chance you might get into Harvard, even if your profile is not even nearly close to any of the people who have joined. So see, the part where there isn't a concrete metric is your advantage and is your disadvantage at the same point. So you can just throw your arrows blindly, but that too with a certain limit. Like what I said, 3 universities you apply which are highly impossible for you, and 3 universities which are highly possible, and 3 completely safe universities that are just for backup. And after you do that, you'll just have to look at the deadlines. Most probably you'll have to start working on the applications itself. And sometimes the university's deadlines might be 1 month apart. Then you'll have time to revise your SOP. You'll just get out of the application process and come back again and just look at your SOP. You find that this part is very bad and you'll have to improve that. Then you'll start working on it again. So this part of having a gap between universities deadlines is somewhat healthy, and it'll help you build a healthier profile for the next universities you apply. And after you do that, you will have to start messaging for the professors or managers you want to get an LOR from. It's the very important step that can get you delayed. See, I have messaged my professors 10 days before the application. So all my applications went on the last day of the deadline, and I was worrying from top to bottom about if I would lose the application. So this is what is the problem. If you start earlier, if you start at least a month before, they'll have good time to write an LOR that is you know that's very useful for you. And get a good GRE and IELTS score. Again, this does not guarantee a seat, but it can definitely guarantee an elimination if you get a very bad score. Check out the university's average GRE score. You can just find it over Google if you are going to a certain university. Check the average GRE score of MSCA students that come into this university's branch. Then you will get an average. And if you are near the average, then you most probably won't be an elimination. If there is not, you'll get an elimination. And SOP, one of the most important parts. So even in the SOP, you will have to write why you are going to do that, why you are going to do that, and you will have to ask yourself before doing that why you want to do why you want to do this, why you want to do that. So yeah, and after that there will be a financial financial part in your applications process. So you'll have to set up how you'll be able to manage the financial application, financial resources, and everything, and also apply for fellowships at the university and outside the university. Do not worry if that could affect your chances or anything like that. It won't affect your chances, but you might get a fellowship. And thank your recommenders finally after you get profiles. So yeah, that's it. That's a very brief presentation I have, and I've kept it to brief so that it won't bore you. You can ask all your questions. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for your invaluable insight, sir. Your guidance on navigating this higher education is very useful, and your expertise and experience have undoubtedly enriched our understanding. And I'm sure it is going to serve us as a light for the students aspiring to embark on their academic journey abroad. With this, let's proceed with the question answer session. Learners, it's a humble request. Please feel free to raise all your queries in the chat section. We will be taking it from there. So moving to the question answer, we have the first question stating if you could explain something about your personal project,
Okay.
like what a personal
So
project is.
okay, yeah. So personal projects can be anything from building a small web application to building your own face recognition system for as a safety for your laptop. Anything, it can be anything. So the point is you can build anything, but you'll have to have an answer of why you built something. So see, if you don't even have a background, say for example, if you don't even have something supportive to uh, your application's prerequisites, then you will have to put something in that part that can justify why you want to do something. So in that requirements part, you will say I've built a you know I've built a Python extension that can run Python code live in your browser. So why you did that? Saying you have an expertise in Python, you have an expertise in web development. So if you have done a personal project, it's better to have reasons that can support your skills. So that's how a personal project should be, I guess. Yeah.
Absolutely fine, sir. The next we have, how do we get these letter of recommendation as stated LORs? And do we get it from IT professors or anybody as other professionals? Like what are the suitable persons for these LORs?
Okay. So, okay. So for the LORs part, you will be requiring by the so in general, a university will require you to give three LORs or four in some occasions. So among these three or four LORs, you will have to provide two academic LORs and one professional LOR. So given you have worked or given you have done an internship either in your 4 years degree, so let's say you have done an internship, you will have an internship manager who you might be reporting to. So he's an eligible person, and you can ask him. and anyone in that company can give you an LOR for that sake. So it does not have to be the internship manager. It can be anyone. If it is the person closest to you, you will get a better LOR. So that's why I was saying a person closest to you. So in the academic LORs part, you can say, for example, a professor who under who you have done a research work, under who you have done at least 2 to 3 courses, should be perfect for an LOR. And most undergraduates don't do an research like me. So I guess I only done a research at the end of my BTech. So I only know a single professor. So in general, you will have to contact people whom under whom you have taken courses. And coming to IIT professors, I don't think they'll directly give you an LOR until you have done something under them. So if you want to start applications the next year, then I suggest you to start mailing them to get a chance to work under them. Then it'll be good, and they'll most probably give an LOR, but they won't give you if you have not worked under them, because this is an online education. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely fine, sir. That's true. If you could just explain, like, is that necessary to have some current LORs, or we could keep up, like you work somewhere, you keep up an LOR ready with you, and then you work somewhere else, you keep up an LOR ready with you, or you want it at that current point, you want those LORs?
No, anybody would do. If you have worked previously, and if that person could, it's like a testifying. It's like testifying before a judge, saying he's a good person and he can work under me. He has worked under me and he can do good work in your college. It's like a testifying part. So anybody in your experience would work as an LOR recommender per se. Yeah.
Actually, here is a question from a student stating, like students who are there in their second or third year, is that fine if they start getting their LORs now itself for their degrees, like for the after completion of the degrees?
Okay, so I think I missed that point. So LORs are not something you can are not a letter that you can just buy. I mean, ask and they just give it. LORs are something submitted by the faculty to the university. So there isn't any involvement of you in the
Okay.
LOR. So universities will directly request the process. So it'll only happen while you apply for a university. So this is only possible during the application process. Before or after, you will not be able to do
Absolutely
anything.
fine. Okay, absolutely fine. So thank you so much. Then we have a next question is, what is the difference between doing an MS in computer science from top institutes like IITs or IIS Bangalore's, or MS in CS from the top abroad universities? If you could put some lights on it.
Okay, so this is a tough question, I can say. So suppose you are getting an MS in computer science from IIT Madras or IIT Bombay per se. So I'll most probably, as a if I am a professional, if I am a professional HR, I would say I'll most probably guess you would be doing an undergraduate in a not an IIT. So if I am from an IIT, I'll most probably won't want to continue an IIT for an MS. So because it's already in the top universities in our country, you want to just prove a point that you are one of the cream around the world. So people who generally go for an abroad universities, that's what I've heard earlier. But when it came to my case, I understood that I want to pursue a research in ethics in responsibility in AI. So that's what my subfield is, and my subfield is not so popular in India. Currently, there isn't any research work going here, so that's why I want to take it abroad where there is already research being going on. And if you have worked in a, if you have worked or you worked under a professor who is already abroad, in general, he'll be able to expose you to the current market trends compared to what they are in India, what they are globally. So you have a narrow perspective, you'll have a diverse perspective. So the point is diversity and stronger focus. So that's why I chose abroad universities. That's why anyone would choose abroad universities, I guess.
Absolutely fine, sir. Thank you so much for putting lights on that. The next we have, do we have any age criteria or any experience criteria for applying for this master's program in abroad?
No, nothing like that. You can apply. You can apply whenever. Age, I don't. I mean, if you are asking for a if you're asking for a lower, a bottom part of the age group, then I think you'll have to complete your undergraduate before joining the university. So that is the only age criterion. And other than that, you'll be fine if you applied even at your 30s or 40s.
Okay. And what about the experience barrier? Do we have some sort of work experience barrier
No,
for that?
see, the experience is something like a cherry on top. If your profile is already sorted, given you are going for an higher education, you're going for an higher education rather than for an higher job opportunity. So given they'll continue looking at your profile, and if you have an experience part that could, back up your skills or back up your knowledge in a particular sub department, that's an addition of your profile. So it does not guarantee you nothing, and it does not guarantee your elimination. So it's an addition to your profile. So you can have it or you won't have it. That's not a problem.
Absolutely fine, sir. Then we have a next question stating which field of CS branch shall we research to try to give ourselves more chance of getting selected in the top abroad universities?
Okay. So let's say there are around 4 to 5 different sub branches, like what I said: ethics of AI, trustworthy deep learning, and computer vision and operating systems and something like that. There are several branches, and but the point is, given 10 universities, all the universities might not be having the same amount of focus on a particular sub branch. So focusing on a particular sub branch does not guarantee you anything. If you are an expert in a particular sub branch, you will not be able to get into a university that is not completely focusing on that branch. So, and this does not even matter with the applications part. If you have a why of doing this thing, then it most probably will give you a chance. The university will most probably give you a chance to do that. But having a particular sub branch does not guarantee you a seat.
Okay, absolutely fine, sir. Then there is a specific question from a student of MSc Chemistry graduate who had little experience in data science management in the pharma industry and have close to completing the data science diploma of IITM course and wish to ask that is it enough to apply for a master's in data science with these credentials, or she should go for some other work experience or education?
That's what I have been explaining from the start. So there isn't any metric to get your profile evaluated. I think you can just start speaking to someone of similar similar skills or similar work experience that have gotten into universities. You can just start looking in your network in LinkedIn. You'll identify people, potential peers who have already done something similar to you and is already doing a graduation. So from my understanding, what I can say is, I am from a metallurgy background and I don't even have an undergraduate. When I have applied for the MS in computer science, the only completion, I only have completed my diplomas. So, so looking at your profile, it's very much similar to me, and you still have a work experience. So I guess it should not be a problem while applying to the universities. So yeah, it's good enough.
Absolutely. Then we have a question stating, did you go for DAD or MIT ACS?
No, I didn't do any of them.
Okay, absolutely fine, sir. I think with this, we are absolutely done with the question. One more question I have. Okay. That is there any website you know that could update good internships regularly of abroad or undergraduates?
Sites for internships. There isn't a single website for that. There are several of them.
Or anything
Uh,
students could do to get updated regarding the opportunities coming related to the academic journey?
I mean, I'm not getting the point. Do you want an internship at a particular abroad company or a university? That's what you're searching? Is that why you're asking a list?
Yeah, I think
Is that
students wish to get updated regarding the opportunities that comes up regularly in the abroad related to their
oh
fields.
oh I don't think I've come across anything like that. No.
Absolutely fine, sir. Okay, I guess with this we have completed up with most of the questions.
Okay.
Okay, fine, sir. Then let's wind up the session. And as we come up to end of this today's session, on behalf of the Industry Interaction Sir and the Student Placement Council, I extend my sincere gratitude to you, sir, for an insightful session on pursuing a computer science dream from material engineering to machine learning. Your comprehensive discussion on university selection, writing a statement of purpose, securing a strong letter of recommendation, and many more have immensely benefited us. Your detailed guidance on these critical components of application process, which are actually an important components, have combined into our invaluable tips and strategies and have provided us with clear roadmap for pursuing our education further. Your first-hand experience and expertise have broadened our understanding. And with this, thank you once again for sharing your knowledge and inspiring us to reach more into our academic journey. And we look forward for more further collaborations in the future. With this, a big thank you to the Industry Interaction Cell and Student Placement Council for organizing this session. We are grateful for your invaluable contributions. With
Thank you.
this, one last thing which I need to mention here. Remember, learners, the journey to higher education may seem daunting, but with the right guidance, which we get today, and the determination within us, we can achieve whatever we want. We can achieve all our dreams. And with this, thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you in our future sessions. With this, stay tuned for our next upcoming sessions.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would also request if Kamla ma'am or Sanjay sir would like to put some lights on this.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Virupaksh. The moment I contacted you, you happily agreed to do the session. So thank you so much. There are so many students who are writing to us, approaching us, asking how to prepare, where to apply for loan, how do I choose universities, how do I go with LORs. I'm sure this session will be wonderful, wonderfully helpful to all such students, the other day I was talking to some seniors and they were saying, I wish, ma'am, we had some sessions, 2 years back. So,
Okay.
I cannot express my gratitude, Virup. So, wishing you all the best. Do well wherever
Thank
you
you.
go and join and keep in touch with us. And then, I tell everybody, at some point you may start a company or you may manage teams, you may manage, projects. Please come back and recruit from our students. Let's come back and make a full circle of that. Okay. And
Okay,
thanks to the SPC team and the IIC team for coordinating everything. Thank you. Thanks again. So, Viru, I will get in touch with you
sure.
separately. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for
Thanks,
having
everybody.
me.